All right. Testing. Testing. This thing on. Can anybody hear me? All right, let's see how we're doing here. Can anybody hear me? All right, we're getting comments. All right. Ryguy, Avery, Kyle, Sam. All right, cool. We're getting comments. We're getting people in here. All right. How's it going, people? We got a handful of people already joined. Looks like we got about 10 people right now. I know more are going to filter in as time goes by, but we haven't done one of these in a little while. So I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and go live and do another call-in stream because, well, there are some things happening with this team right now that I think warrants more than just me making some videos talking about it. I think we collectively as a group need to talk this through because a few things have happened in the last 2 weeks. Number one, we fired Brian Schottenheimer. That's obviously just the surface level of it. But here's the thing. We fired Brian Schottenheimer, and then we did not immediately hire somebody else. So that tells me that something happened unexpected. We were not expecting to let Schottenheimer go, and when we did, it was a snap decision. So the fact that we have not brought anybody in over these last 2 weeks tells me that something bad happened between Carroll and Schottenheimer, and that has led us into this current situation where we are now going on 2 weeks without an offensive coordinator. And while right now that might be okay, it's not going to be okay in a couple weeks when free agency opens. It's not going to be okay in a few weeks, in a few months when the draft opens, if we don't have an offensive coordinator by then. So I feel like this was unplanned. I feel like there might be some sort of power struggle between Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. I feel like there might be some stuff going on. So I thought I'd go ahead and go live. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drop a link in the chat in a minute, and people are going to be able to come in and talk about what they want, how they view things. So if you've never used StreamYard before, it's really easy. Just click the link, go through the setup, and you can come in. But the first person I'm going to bring in is actually somebody through Discord. I have a Discord, and they are actually, it's actually even maybe a little easier for some people to call in through Discord, so I allow that as well. First person that I'm going to bring in to discuss this is Green Earth. You may recognize him from some of the video game streams lately. You may recognize him from the server and the comment section. And yeah, so Green Earth, how are you doing tonight, buddy? All right, let me make sure people can hear you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and unplug the headphones since you're coming in through the Discord. So what's your take on what's going on right now?
Okay, so I'm going to do something real quick that people might consider to be unpopular. But I'll stick up for Pete Carroll for just 1 second.
Okay.
Say that fundamentally his idea about do the run play and you set up the big passes, we were doing early on in the season wasn't that much different from what we were doing in previous years. The main difference was they were just letting him throw the ball more instead of trying to set it up so much. They actually let him do it. So we can just continue with that sort of plan, but obviously we need someone who can actually design the plays.
Right.
So philosophy, I feel like, is secondary to actual talent in designing the plays as far as right now goes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I would contest with that is that clearly our run pass percentage was very different from previous years. Like, that's why I did the Let Russ Cook series. We were passing the ball more than we ever had by a long shot. I think last year we passed the ball 54% of the time. This year we were passing it about 60. The year before that, we were actually doing like 48 or something. So Yeah, there was definitely a change, but I understand what you're saying.
The percentages changed and some of the names changed, so they obviously had to account for that. Through Metcalf more saying is when I feel like when people are discussing this, they're putting a bit too much value on the idea of you just need someone who's going to air it out constantly, not actually thinking about, actual talent as a play designer, which is what we really need. It's all we need is someone who can actually design the plays. And as long as the run pass percentage stays steady and he just stays out of the way just a little bit, it'll be effective.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, the players are the reason why this has happened. If Wilson played better football in the second half of the season and didn't lose, say, to the Giants, we wouldn't be in this situation right now because we would have gotten a first-round bye. We might still be alive in the playoffs for all we know. Who knows? And Schottenheimer wouldn't be fired because we'd have a game in a couple weeks in the Super Bowl for all we know. Or at least we would have gotten to the NFC title game or something like that. And then I don't think Schottenheimer loses his job. So, to a certain extent, the players have caused this. But to me, I do feel like a play caller does have a lot of impact on this stuff because there was that period of time to start the season when the offense was playing as good as any Seahawks offense I've ever seen. And then we didn't adjust to other teams going into the cover 2. And then Carroll put his influence in the offense, and that seemed to ruin things a little bit because the offense really was not great in any game other than the Jets game this season. So, I kind of see what you're saying there with it being more on the players to play better. Absolutely.
I think one of the things that's happened is we just need to start actually making adjustments at halftime. I felt that was the most frustrating things that we did all year. We'd play a terrible first half. We'd go into the locker room and we'd come out and we'd be doing the exact same shit that we were doing earlier. You notice every single other great team in existence, they get punched in the nose in the first half. Whatever they're doing is not working. They have to change tactics. I feel like current administration right now is just too headstrong. They are, if you're not adjusting to the defense, what are you doing? You're just signing your own death warrant, which is what they did. That's why Brian Schottenheimer's not here.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there anybody out there that has been discussed so far that interests you in terms of a new play caller, a new offensive coordinator? I know you have your own personal favorite, but I think that's right now a pipe dream, and we can talk about that for a second.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Let me just go see.
Like as of right now, Shane Steichen and Pep Hamilton strike me as two likely candidates. I've made videos about them. I think that Lombardi from New Orleans is a possible candidate. I think there are a couple others as well. But is there anybody who catches your eye, just personally?
Steichen seems like a good idea.
Yeah, he would be safe, solid, workable.
Very safe. Safe is fine, I feel like. We have enough offense that if someone just showcases the talents of the offense and even just adjusts a little, that they can be successful. I feel like people trying to put their identity, get a rubber stamp all over it is what's created this. We just showcase the talent of the offense.
All right.
Playing safe isn't such a good thing because the offense is talented from top down. Receivers, everybody is very talented. I feel like that can't be disputed.
But would you say that the fact that we don't have a coordinator after 2 weeks, Schottenheimer got fired about 2 weeks ago, we still don't have somebody, do you agree that that's an indication that this was not something we had planned, and to a certain extent we did it because something kind of blew up behind the scenes? How do you feel about that?
I don't know, man. I feel like I felt like Schottenheimer should have been gone a long time ago.
Fair enough.
But I don't know if they hadn't planned on firing Schottenheimer after his performance on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what possibly off the field could have encouraged them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately don't know what could be more offensive than the putrid scheme he put out.
Very fair. Very fair. All right.
If we need more up tempo, definitely.
All right. So we have somebody else in the Discord chat. I'm going to bring him in real quick. Washi, because he's only going to be around for a few minutes and he wants to get in before he has to go. So Washi, if you are there, you can unmute and you can join the call. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So what do you make of all this?
I don't know. I think we should get Mike Kafka, but like we should probably get him before the enemy gets tired. But like I don't know. I think we need someone that like uses a lot of motion because, like like Andy Reid, they have Tyreek Hill in the slot and they make him on like these deep over routes and he just burns them. And they need like to play like too deep, and then they have like the inside safety kind of like going to stop those deep over routes by Tyreek Hill, and then that takes two people's attention off on Tyreek Hill, and then you open up Tyler Lockett, David Moore, the tight ends, the running backs in the flat.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we can be doing that we simply don't do, and it is infuriating. It feels like we're the only team in the league that doesn't do these things.
Yeah. And I heard that today we were looking at Ken Dorsey,
yes, I heard that
coach of the Bills. Yeah.
Oh yes.
I don't know. I think I heard that the Bills are like bottom 5 in like motion, and I think we need a lot of motion because there are pretty good corners in our division, and I think to get good matchups with Metcalf and Lockett, we really need to use motion a lot. So I think someone from like Nathaniel Hackett from Green Bay would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Yeah, I don't know exactly how much the Bills use motion off the top of my head, but Ken Dorsey was the QB coach for Cam Newton when he won MVP. He was also the QB coach for Josh Allen these last few years when Josh Allen has become a legit MVP candidate. So there's definitely some good stuff going on there. Also, Ken Dorsey has never been a play caller before. He's been a QB coach. So he might use a lot of motion if he got to call plays. We don't know. But that is a good point. That is a valid point to make. All right. So, yeah. So, Nicholas, is there anything else you'd like to go over before I open it up to some of the StreamYard guests?
Mm.
All right.
I guess maybe the running back situation.
All right. Go ahead.
Penny and Hyde are enough, especially if we're going to continue just doing the passing attack. Penny and Hyde are enough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan. Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of either of those players, but on a fundamental level, I kind of agree that you should be able to get a little bit more out of lesser running backs if you have a good offensive system. You know, I'm thinking about a team like the Chiefs that lost Kareem Hunt because he got suspended, and they didn't miss a beat. They went to other running backs, and you didn't even notice. They still had a record-breaking offense. You know, that's what great offensive systems can do. Last year, they won the Super Bowl despite having no running back over 500 rushing yards. So I agree with that sentiment. So Washi, other than Nathaniel Hackett and Mike Kafka, does anybody else stick out to you?
I don't know. I think this would be like a long shot, but I think if no one hires Eric Bieniemy, we could get him because he doesn't have any play calling rights on the Chiefs, and I think getting him play calling rights, I don't think we could get him, but I don't know. I'm thinking like Mike McDaniel from San Francisco because he also won't be a play caller. I think we should go to like the teams with like Kyle Shanahan, McVay, and all these teams where like the coaches are like the offensive play callers, and then the coordinators, we can get them here because I've used leverage that we can give you play calling rights, and that can really like cement them and push the career forward. But those would be like really short-term options because if they do good, he will be a head coach, probably. But like, I think that would be pretty good. Like,
all right. Well, thank you, Green Earth.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, one last thing. Mike Leach, you should hire him.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fun. I don't know if it would work, but it'd be fun. All right, Green Earth and Washi, thank you for coming on. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to some of the StreamYard guests. But thank you for coming on. So I'm going to bring on the first two people on the queue. We have Sam Dog, and we have, I think this is Tumbo.
That is.
Hey, Brennan, how you doing, man?
Hey, Sam Dog, how's it going? So, Sam Dog, I'm going to start with you real quick. So, look, we are going on about 2 weeks now with no offensive coordinator. What do you make of the situation?
I would kind of like to go after the guy from Buffalo that was just mentioned today. My buddy Anish hit me up about Ken Dorsey, and he possibly made Josh Allen an MVP candidate. He's had a really good year with Josh Allen, and I'll tell you what, I like the way that he had him running. And I was talking to another friend of mine, and what would you think if we were to bring Ken Dorsey on, and what could he bring to the Seahawks offense?
Well, like I said, not only was Ken Dorsey the QB coach for Josh Allen these last couple of years, he was also the QB coach for Cam Newton when Cam Newton won MVP. So he has a bit of a good history. He was obviously a great college quarterback, although he wasn't a great system in Miami. We all knew that he was not, a superstar in college, but he produced very well within that system. And yeah, he's done good work as a coach so far. So yeah, I'm looking at Ken Dorsey and I'm thinking to myself, it might be time for him to get some play calling rights, because the guy who is the current Bills play caller, offensive coordinator, Brian DeBole, is probably going to get a head coaching job this offseason. Mm-hmm. So one way or another, Ken Dorsey will probably be an offensive coordinator this year.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. I would love to go get him. And plus, another thing I want to point out is, if we don't bring back Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, how would you feel about the possibilities of getting a Mark Ingram or maybe possibly J.C. Jackson from the Patriots, who are some of the available free agent running backs, just to name a couple of the free agent running backs that would be available this offseason?
Generally, I'm not a big fan of getting running backs out of free agency, because by the time you get them, they've already got so many miles on them. They're not really able to produce at the high level. A lot of times they've already worn out. You just don't know, especially Mark Ingram. He's been around forever. He's a great player, but he's been around a while. So I'm not crazy about that. I always prefer to go get some rookie out of college, scout somebody, find somebody, and you get somebody who's fresh and has a lot of tread on his tires. But yeah, that's how I generally view things. So Tumbo, I'm going to pull you in. I know you have wanted Schottenheimer out of here for quite some time, and we finally got him out of here. We finally got him out of town. So I know you're happy. What are you looking for from the next couple of weeks about who we might get?
I really hope we can get somebody that's not synonymous with failure or mediocrity. I want us to get somebody who's proven, somebody who's made a productive offense these last couple years. Anthony Lynn is gone, so we can't get him. Right. Doug Peterson is gone. He's probably going to just sit the year out and take a break.
Yep.
So when we looking at Shane Steichen, no. I have no idea why we're looking at him, even giving him an. He's terrible. He's off.
I agree with you.
I even though Justin Herbert balled out this year, there was a lot of times that offense, just watching it, they couldn't do a lot of things in the fourth quarter and stuff. They were getting shut down. A lot of Justin Herbert's just throwing the ball repeatedly, you're going to get a lot of yards and touchdowns. Like, one thing about Russell Wilson, his rookie year, when he tied Peyton Manning's TD record, he did it with 90 less passes than Baker Mayfield. So how efficient is he really, Because in our offense, we're gonna run the ball. So the small amount of times, or either when we throw the ball, we have to be successful, because Pete is going to run the ball. And then if the passing game doesn't work, he's damn sure going to run the ball. Because one thing about Pete, he allows his coordinators to do whatever until it's not working. Then that's when he'll take over. That's why he started running the ball in the second half of the season, because Brian Schottenheimer got figured out. He was like, yo, our defense is playing lights out. We need help. And playing football, When I used to play, my defense was good, but our offense was trash. You're gonna eventually break that. You can't hold everybody to 15 points a game.
Part of
Absolutely.
it is trenches, though, too. You got to have a good offensive line, and it all starts with building in the trenches for sure. And I've always been one to talk with Brendan. You and me, Brendan, have always been one to talk about building in the trenches. It's hard to get good offensive linemen in the draft, though. I think we got it good with Damian Lewis this past season for us in the draft. It's just how many more times are we going to have to try to get it in this upcoming draft, and of course free agent? Which lineman would you be looking out for, Brendan? And Tumbo, I need to know from you too, man. What would you want for offensive lineman coming in next year?
I'd have to look at the free agent class. I know this free agent class is really, really deep, but you still have to consider the fact of teams re-signing players, so that may take away a lot of big market players off the market. But I'm not sure about who's on the O-line, but depending, because this team, I think we have a really small window. A lot of our very, very serviceable guys like Shaquille Griffin, Chris Carson, all these guys, Carlos Dunlap, their contract is over in the next 2 years. We have to do something right now, because after that, we're either going to have to make a way that we can build a roster and use our money wisely like the Chiefs did and the Bucks did, or we're going to have to hit on our draft picks and our free agent picks, because I think Russell's going to be here he's going to finish out his contract, probably play another contract with us. We have to hit right now, because this team could have made the Super Bowl easy. We had no business losing to the Rams. Just the offense, if you can't score points, you're not going to win a game.
Absolutely.
You can't expect the defense to do absolutely everything. This team could have beat the Buccaneers. Exactly.
No, I don't think any of us would have thought. I don't think we could have even, beaten the Buccaneers, and we were nowhere near as good as the Bills or obviously the Chiefs. And the Rams, they've been our daddy the past few years, man. Aaron Donald.
The one team I did not want to play in the playoffs was the fucking Rams. I was like, oh God, it's the third time in 1 year, and McVay, he be fucking us up. And the times we win, we barely win. Other than that, he be straight dogging our ass.
It is true, but we do need a better offensive line. That's true, but we can also get an offensive system that allows our offensive linemen to look better.
I was looking at the Green Bay game against the Rams, and I was thinking about the way of how balanced Green Bay's attack was with the way they were passing and running the ball too. And I really think having good design plays, make design plays that could work with Russell, like Green Bay did with Aaron Rodgers. I really like the way they were able to attack the Rams in their game. That was one of my thoughts is, can our next OC that we get, if we get Dorsey, can we get a better design offense with a well-balanced attack of balancing both the run and the passing attack and doing the quick check downs and short plays? Because there was no need for us to go for it on third and short. The deep ball on third and short. Just get the first down and keep the drive alive and go for some of those short plays. That was one of the things that irritated me, was why were we going so deep on third and short when we needed to convert to keep the drive alive. I think that's just my thought. I just want to know your guys' thoughts on that too, because that's just my personal.
Did y'all watch the Chiefs-Bills game?
Yeah.
Did y'all see how wide open Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce was getting?
Yeah.
Watch our games. Dudes do not get wide open when they're just not schemed open. They have to either, I think it's 100% on a player to either burn the DB or hit him with a move and get open. I don't think it's nothing, say any cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, cover 5, cover 6 beaters, anything like that, because Sean McVay, he shut down all of our fucking plays running cover 2 and cover 4 the whole game. He was shutting down everything. We couldn't do nothing. Yeah. Over the top, we couldn't get open. Underneath, we couldn't get open. And the thing is, when you have a week when our offensive line wasn't doing as great, and we've known we had offensive line problems since Russell's been here. So why don't you have any quick game stuff instead of waiting for these plays that take 3 to 5 seconds or longer to develop, when we can't hold up these guys that long? Yeah, we didn't have anything in our back pocket we could use to help our own weaknesses.
Right.
That's kind of what I was indicating. You want a better offensive line. You also need a play caller who's going to utilize the offensive line that he has better. And when the offensive line isn't very good, then you do need a system where the ball gets out a little faster. Like, I remember several years ago, all college football teams with big offenses were running the spread. And in the spread, offensive linemen don't do anything. They just stand there. So NFL teams were having a problem finding offensive linemen because all these guys they would draft from college didn't know how to really play the position. So the successful teams basically started running the spread. The Patriots basically ran the spread for a little while there. I remember back in 2012, Brady would have some games where he would just drop back and throw 60 times because what are they going to do? They're drafting offensive linemen who they have to teach how to play on the fly because they didn't learn how to play in college. So if you get the right kind of offensive mind, you can do stuff like that.
That's why we got to hit on those draft picks. It's so hard to find good offensive linemen in the draft.
Well, it doesn't seem like we're going to do that because we got 4 picks.
It's going to be tough.
They're going to be lesser talented guys because we don't have a first round pick. Yeah. Isn't our second round pick gone? Is it?
No, we have our second round pick.
We have
we have our second. A third is gone this year.
Yeah, third's gone.
Our third this year or next year?
Third is gone this year.
What are the odds?
I don't know, man.
What are the odds of us making a surprising trade during the offseason, like a certain player to accumulate some more draft picks? What do you think that could be a possibility, and what are the odds of it happening?
Who do we have to trade?
Yeah, I don't see anybody we have to trade. I don't see it.
Could you possibly see a Jaron Reed trade, possibly?
That's the only guy left. Yeah, that's the one guy I could see. And the issue is, I think everybody knows that there's no dead money if we cut him. So if we try to trade him, teams are going to figure, well, let's just wait, and they're going to have to cut him in a few days. So there might be some of that going on. Maybe you could trade. I don't think you can trade Bobby because his contract's too big. I don't think it makes any sense to trade Jamal, although I have heard a few people discussing that. Somebody suggested trading Dwayne Brown, but he's got no value at his advanced age. So, yeah, I don't see it. I think that maybe you could invest some free agency money into a guy like Joe Thuney or Brandon Scherf, but those guys are going to be very expensive.
Yeah, and money talks. And then how much did we free up $7 million in cap when Greg Olsen announced his retirement today on Fox?
No, he was a free agent. He was not under contract next year.
Yeah. I mean,
he was on a 1-year deal.
I wanted to try to figure out the cap space situation because we're going to need cap free agency.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like the last 2 weeks, I've gone over a lot of different offensive coordinator candidates. I am probably going to do Ken Dorsey tomorrow. I know you were talking about him, Sam. I know that's an intriguing one because that has emerged as somebody who we clearly like. I'm going to do a couple others, but it is very strange that this team doesn't have anybody. The only thing that would make it make some sense in terms of planning would be if we're planning to get either Mike Kafka or Ken Dorsey or somebody who was still in the playoffs, somebody who we could not hire.
I think Kafka said he was going to stay with the Chiefs.
Yeah, he says that, but that doesn't mean anything. Dennis Erickson said he was going to stay with the Miami Hurricanes in 1992, and then he came here like 10 days later. So I don't that stuff doesn't really matter.
Wow. That I guess I can give that some thought too. I mean, that's a good point. But pretty cool to have Tumbo on here too, man. Never thought I'd get to talk to you. I was always wondering where I get to interact with you, Tumbo.
Yeah. So Tumbo, I know you said you really didn't like Shane Steichen because of the efficiency issue of the Chargers last year, which I actually went over that a little bit. They moved the ball a lot, didn't score as many points as they probably should have. So what do you think about somebody like a Mike Kafka, as that's kind of the guy that most people seem to be the most excited about?
I don't know much about Mike Kafka. I don't know much about him, so I can't really say nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what we're doing, recently we haven't just went out there and really just got guys, got like a free agent. We let Antonio Brown slip. We probably, if we just could have offered him the money before, Brady started getting up his ear, we probably could have had him on lock. We really haven't been that go-getting team, especially in free agency too, which shows we haven't been that go-getting team. So I don't know. We're doing what's expected of us. We're probably going to do what is usually what this team does is we do what our last option left, like what we had to do in 2017 when we had to fire Daryl Bevel, that was all we had. That's all we could do. We couldn't keep him no more.
Mhm.
I think it's one of those situations where it's just gonna be it's gonna be like a last minute situation. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then the guy is probably going to be Kirby Wilson. And if we get Kirby Wilson, I'm telling you, Wilson's not going to be happy with that. I don't think anybody's going to be happy.
Who is Kirby Wilson?
He's the running back coach for the Oakland Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders. He's been a running back coach his whole career. He was a running back coach for the Steelers, the Vikings, the Cardinals, the Browns. He's never had play calling, and he's always been a running back coach. So
I really don't understand how these dudes be getting interviews. It's crazy.
yeah,
And in the Raiders, they haven't even had a 1,000-yard running back since 2015. And no, they had one this year, Josh Jacobs.
yeah, Josh Jacobs. But
before that, they had went a long time. Latavius Murray was the last one back in 2015.
Yeah, and the 1 year in the last 11 years, I looked this up, that Kirby Wilson had an elite rushing game on his team was the year he was coaching Adrian Peterson in 2014. And Adrian Peterson doesn't need a coach to run for 1,500 yards. Adrian Peterson's good no matter who his coach is. So, yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So can't wait to see the video you got for Ken Dorsey, Brandon. I got to get ready to jet on out of here. Tumbo, it was good to finally get a chance to interact with you too, man. Hopefully you can get over so much. Me and Brandon, you watched our preview, right? Sam Dog,
No, I didn't know you had. I just thought you were just like a spectator.
No,
I'll check your channel out now.
I got a YouTube channel too, man. Me and Brendan collaborated doing game previews for the Seahawks during the regular season and playoffs too.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'll go start.
All right, man. All right, Sam Dog. Thanks for coming out. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks for having me on, Brendan.
All right.
Do you think that? Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna pull TJ in here real quick. TJ, welcome to the stream. If you're still there, sorry for the wait. It's a queue, people first come first serve. But how you doing, TJ?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's up, man?
What's up? So, I'm gonna ask you the same question I was asking other people who were coming in before. How do you feel about the offensive coordinator situation right now?
Honestly, I'm kind of shocked. It's been 2 weeks, give or take, since we fired Schottenheimer. I don't really know many candidates this year besides the main ones like Anthony Lynn, Doug Peterson, even Adam Gase now. I honestly don't really keep up with that. But honestly, I can't really give an opinion on something I don't really know.
Right. It is very odd that we fired somebody and did not immediately know where we were going with it. Like, you would think that you would at least wait till you have the guy ready to go. Usually that's how it works. And it's possible the reason is because, like I said, that we just didn't have we just didn't have any we're waiting for somebody to get knocked out of the playoffs or to win the Super Bowl. Like maybe we're trying to get Kafka, maybe we're trying to get the Ken Dorsey, who just got knocked out of the playoffs today. So that's possible, but outside of that, this is definitely very irregular. So there are a ton of interesting candidates out there, and it seems like we're kicking the tires on all of them. But everybody has different takes on who they would be excited for and who they would not be excited for. But what kind of stuff are you looking for next year, TJ?
Well, I'm looking for a better offensive line. Like, we were playing decently on the offensive line the first few weeks, and then when Shell went down to injury and Mike went down with injury, that's when all of our injuries and stuff, and that's when all the sacks came in. So
It's true, man. It's true. All right, Tumbo, I'm gonna pull you back in. You were about to ask me something before I had to pull in TJ. What was that?
How do you feel about like all the rumors about Russell Wilson not being happy, him may demand a trade, him may be being on his last run with Seattle? Do you believe any of that?
I think that there may be something going on between Wilson and Carroll. They may have a disagreement about the guy they want to hire. I'm sure Carroll has his idea of who he wants, and Wilson has his idea of who he wants. And I don't think those two visions are currently gelling very well right now. But I do think that for the moment, there's not any of that going on. If we hire somebody like a Kirby Wilson or, God forbid, Adam Gase, then I would not be surprised if Wilson turned around and requested a trade. I would not be surprised if he looked at that and was like, I am not going to be here and let you run the ball 65% of the time. That doesn't make any sense for me. So if we hire the wrong guy, I could see Wilson being irritated enough to want to go do something else.
Want to trade him to Houston? Get Deshaun?
Deshaun's awesome. So I would definitely take that. Deshaun's really good. He's young, and he has the potential to be very special. So yeah, I would jump all over that. But
you want to know what team really needs to get Deshaun? They have the Browns. The Browns need to do whatever they can to get Deshaun Watson. If they get Deshaun Watson, they're going and I bet you he would work with Odell too.
Yeah. I've said this before. In a way, I know Browns fans are over the moon right now, but in a way, it's almost kind of bad that they had this season in Baker's last year before he gets his extension, because now they're going to feel obligated to give Baker a big contract, and I don't think Baker's that good. So
he sucks.
Yeah, I don't think Baker's that good.
I think it's crazy too how Kevin Stefanski did an amazing job as head coach compared to our offensive coordinator. He couldn't even handle offensive coordinator, but Kevin Stefanski, this is his first go around. Where they go? Did they go 10-6 or 11-5?
I think it was 11-5.
Well, they went that. Brian Schottenheimer been coaching for like 12 years. He done offensive coordinator. This is third team. He was brought up in football, and he just still sucks. I don't know what more people need to see to know that this dude, he's not going to get you where you want. If your goal is a championship, he's not that guy that you need to have on your staff.
And it's infuriating because it seems like it shouldn't be hard to understand simple concepts like get receivers open with your scheme, or run creative routes, or run routes that are, run misdirection. It doesn't seem like it should take a genius to do these things. And sometimes it seems like he's the only guy who doesn't do those things.
He doesn't, and he doesn't do a lot of like trickery stuff that we saw like Kansas City do tonight when Travis Kelce, he had ran across to the left side. He was just wide open.
Nobody there.
Like it's literally everybody. This whole like the whole rest of the second half of the season, everybody knew what we was doing as soon as we came out. And they ain't had no problem stopping it either, other than the Jets.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's an interesting time to be a Seahawks fan. It usually is. It's not often you go this long without having an offensive coordinator, but obviously I've been monitoring the search, and it's good to collect different takes on the kind of guy that we need. It seems like you've kind of resigned yourself to us getting a run first Pete Carroll type of offensive coordinator, which is pretty reasonable, I think. But hopefully in that we can find something like what you're talking about.
I just want somebody that can get players open, like you see people in the Bills get open, like you see people in the Chiefs get open, like you see people in the Bucs get open. Everybody can get open except for us.
Yeah.
You can put a defensive grandmas on the field and they'll somehow shut us down with Brian Schottenheimer, because my God, I can't stand him.
Yeah. All right, Tumbo, I got to pull some other people in, so I'm going to let you go.
Now.
Thanks for coming out tonight, man. We'll be doing this again. Hope to see you. But thank you for coming out.
Easy.
See you.
All
right. I believe we're pulling in Ryguy next. Ryguy, welcome.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right tonight. So real quick, so TJ, are you feeling the tension between this team and Russell Wilson right now, or more specifically Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson right now? Because I have, and I've been talking about it a little bit lately. How do you feel about that?
Oh, absolutely. I honestly feel like Russell Wilson is on his last string with this team. Honestly, I feel like if Russell Wilson wants to pass, like when you have basically Calvin Johnson Jr. with DK Metcalf, you have Tyler Lockett, who's an amazing slot receiver. You have all these weapons on offense. You have a $35 million quarterback, and all you want to do is run the ball. Like, why pay all this? Tyler Lockett, $12 million. Russell Wilson, $35 million. DK Metcalf, when he gets a new contract, you have all this money, and you're not even going to use it.
Yeah, it's or we're gonna do what we did last offseason and get a bunch of 1-year prove-it deals for a bunch of vets. Like Philip Dorsett, who didn't play a down of football this year.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
Remember in the offseason when Russell Wilson, he's never said anything, and then he says he wants superstars, and then he's voicing his opinion more. I'm telling you, if Russell Wilson gets traded, we have nobody to blame but Pete Carroll. And that's how I feel.
Yeah. And, I talk about this sometimes in stream. I talk about the possibility of trading Wilson and whether or not it would be good for this team. And people would ask me, well, who are you going to get who's better than Wilson? The goal is not to get somebody better than Wilson. The goal is to get somebody decent who's making 5% of Wilson's money. The goal in that scenario would be to get somebody who is capable, not as good as Wilson, but is making so little amounts of money that you're then able to make an elite defense again, or you're able to make an elite offensive line again. So that's what I'm looking for. So, Ryguy, what do you make of this offensive coordinator thing? We're almost 2 weeks without an offensive coordinator.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, it's just there's some sort of a turnoff for it. Like, you see Anthony Lynn. What I was trying to say is, like, he took the OC job in Detroit, and on the same day with Matthew Stafford is parting ways with the Lions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How is that situation more preferable than ours?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Can I say something on that situation?
Go ahead.
I don't know if it was the same day or I don't know. It was very close together.
Go ahead, TJ.
Honestly, I think nobody wants to be our offensive coordinator right now is because of Pete Carroll even said he wants to run the ball. And last time I checked, Anthony Lynn is top 10 in pass and worst in run. And if we're going to run, why should he come to us when his best thing to do is pass?
Well, Anthony Lynn actually has a tremendous history of being around very good running teams. Like, he was in Buffalo and they led the league in rushing 2 years in a row. He was in New York with the Jets when they had a really good rushing attack for a couple years, I think. So Anthony Lynn actually has a pretty strong history of being around good rushing attacks. These last couple years, he hasn't, because San Diego's personnel dictated that they needed to be pass first. So they changed what they were doing to accommodate their personnel and their game situations, something that Carroll doesn't seem like he wants to do. The reality is that next year, this team is probably going to have a piecemeal backfield. They're going to have 2 Pro Bowl caliber receivers. They're going to have a $35 million QB, and they need to call plays accordingly. Look, I mean, there are people out there, and I understand where they're coming from, who think Wilson just isn't any good anymore. They don't think Wilson's good anymore. And even if that's the case, I don't think you can then go, well, let's just turn him into a handoff machine. No, he's making $35 million. He's going to either sink or swim, but you can't just let him stick in the shallow side of the pool. That's never going to work.
And it's just going to be an anchor. Like, we can't build a good defense. Like, because of all the cap that they suck up.
Yeah. Well, we can't build a great defense. We can build a decent defense, which is what we had. But a decent defense should be all you need if you're paying a quarterback this much money. If not, then there's something else going on there.
Like in Kansas City, they got 3 guys that are kind of like the Trinity, and I think we all know who they are. And sometimes that's really all you need.
So, Ryguy, let me ask you, who would you like to bring in as offensive coordinator of the people who are out there, who we have? What's your take on the current pool?
Adam Gase, no, I'm kidding. Probably Pep Hamilton, if he's still available.
Yeah, I do like Pep Hamilton. He should still be out there. It makes all the sense in the world for us to go get Pep. I've talked about that at length before. He's somebody who has done some good stuff in the ground game and the pass game before, so he has some versatility. That would be a good one. I like him. I like the guy we brought in today, Joe Lombardi. Joe Lombardi would actually, or I think we brought him in yesterday, actually, but Joe Lombardi deserves a second chance at being an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, hopefully we can get his grandfather's namesake's trophy.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, of course, that's always the goal, but yeah, Joe Lombardi would be interesting. I would be intrigued by Ken Dorsey. We got to find our Shanahan, our McVay. And ideally, the person that we get from this search ends up being our head coach in a few years when Pete's done. Ideally, they would be our offensive coordinator for a few years and then be our head coach. around the time Wilson is starting to maybe get up there in years and might be gone. So hopefully we get somebody young and with upside. That's why I really want to stay away from like Daryl Bevel and
Bevel is. We should know what he's done.
yeah.
And he's just.
Yeah, I mean,
Daryl
not that Bevel's bad. He's just we've already been on that ride and we know what it is.
And he's just, and it's not like he did anything in Detroit to make him any better.
So TJ, anything else you want to discuss about this whole situation right now? Anything else you want to cover? Hello?
Hello?
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay. Honestly, do you think we should cut Mike Iopati?
Mike Upati, we don't have to cut him. He's not under contract, but I don't want him back next year. He clearly needs to retire. His body is not holding up. He needs to retire. So I don't even think there's going to come to a decision like that. He just has to, of his own volition, realize that the football is no longer for him.
Yeah, I was looking at all free agents this year, and honestly, KJ Vike, honestly, he's not probably going to get re-signed.
I agree.
The way our defense was playing, we usually only use like 2 linebackers most of the time.
Most teams do, yeah.
Yeah, and you ain't gonna draft a first-round linebacker and not play him. So KJ's pretty much gone. Chris Carson, if we're gonna run the ball, then we might have to re-sign him back by default. Shaquille Griffin might. Maybe we could like tag him and trade him.
Yeah, that's a possibility for sure.
We do not have many plays we can trade.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a tight off season. What we're going to need to do is bring in the right coaches to utilize the talent we have, because we're not going to be able to get a whole lot more talent. All right.
We've pretty much sapped all of our trade value.
All right, TJ, I got to pull some other people in, so I want to say thank you for coming out tonight, man. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
All right, I'll be doing this again, so I hope you join in next time we do it as well, and have a good evening. All right, Avery is next, it looks like. Avery, are you there?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Brandon?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good tonight. So, yeah, we're basically just talking about this offensive coordinator stuff going on right now. 2 weeks, no offensive coordinator. What do you think? What do you think about the firing, and who do you want to go hire?
I mean, the Packers maybe, but I don't know. Packers are offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, guys like that. But I think that the problem is maybe not really connecting right now, because Pete wants to go run first and Russ wants to pass a lot more. So that's what I'm thinking about this situation.
I think like Pete Carroll would rather have a quarterback like Matt Leinart, who like I say that because he had him at USC quite obviously, but he really only won that Heisman 1 year because they had no one else to give it to.
Right. I mean, I've said before that I wonder if Pete Carroll would be more comfortable coaching a team like the Bears, a team that doesn't have a good QB and knows it, so they game plan accordingly, and they get to spend a lot of money on defense because their QB is not somebody who they have to give a lot of money to. Like, I think that the odds are good they're going to move on from Trubisky this offseason and go get another young QB who's not making any money. And if they do that, then I think Carroll would prefer coaching a team like that. I've said that before, and I stand by it.
And I think I don't know why, Virginia, it's very bad. They have a very bad owner.
Right. But
I guess maybe like a reclamation project like Mike Holmgren did for us. But
yeah. So Avery, my question is, for you would be the fact that we fired Schottenheimer on what seemed to be very short notice, the fact that we haven't hired a replacement yet, the fact that it seemed like Carroll was already set on keeping Schottenheimer 24 hours before he got fired.
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe something happened behind the scenes and there might continue to be things happening behind the scenes with this organization right now?
Yeah, maybe Schottenheimer wanted to keep on passing. But the problem with Schottenheimer is he couldn't adjust to what defense we were giving him. When they're playing him too deep, maybe he sits like does stuff with the tight ends and stuff. But he didn't want to do that. He just wanted to go deep, continue to go deep, force Russ to go deep. And Russ didn't play well for like the later half of the season. So maybe Pete didn't get along with Schottenheimer because he wanted to run the ball more. Maybe Schottenheimer wanted to pass the ball, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I that's totally believable to me. When I did that series of videos this year, the Let Russ Cook videos, I was only looking at the situational play calling. I wasn't looking at the specific play calls. It seemed like Schottenheimer had a good handle on situational play calling, but a bad handle on specific play calls. He knew that we needed to pass the ball on 2nd and 12, but he didn't know how to call a good play to actually pick up yards. We saw a lot of the stuff this year where we would run a 6-yard pass on 3rd and 11. We would run a 2-yard route on 3rd and 5, things like that. And hopefully with the Schottenheimer leaving this offseason, we can get away from that and get to stuff that actually makes some sense. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's hopefully something that we improve on this year, because I believe in terms of the pass run split, we did a great job last year.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We did better than we did the other years because we used to run the ball a lot more.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And running the ball doesn't win.
Not anymore. Not as much as it used to. That's
the
for
80s,
sure.
Where
we used to rely on Russ to come back in the games because we were down by some. So that right there.
Yeah, I've said it before. I promise you, other teams in the league in like years like 2018, 2019 were making fun of us because we had one of the best QBs in the league and we only used him when we felt like we needed to. We were saving him for special occasions.
Yeah,
this year's.
I think in that Packers game. Sorry, I think in that Packers game in 2019 when we was throwing the ball, we was getting a lot more yards gained. And I don't know why we went away from that. We know Marshawn is old. Why would we continue to run the ball? We should have passed it a little bit more. Maybe we would have won the game. We would have been in the game at least.
I agree.
Especially because that field at Lambeau it's pretty shitty. Like it always looks.
Yeah, and Wilson played great in that game, and he usually doesn't play good in Green Bay.
Yeah,
but he brought it in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what Pete like hates Russ Wilson, I guess, because he hasn't really let Russ cook like he did the beginning of the season this season, and I think that Russ started to feel a little bit more pressure on him because the defense was playing terrible. Then when the defense started getting better, and in that first Rams game, he didn't play bad. He played bad at the end of the game when he threw that pick, that dumb decision not to run it.
First half too, with the Jamal turnover.
Yeah. I don't think Carroll hates Wilson. I think Carroll genuinely believes this is how you win football games. I think he's wrong, but I think he genuinely believes this is how you play winning football. I think he's wrong. I think that he was right maybe 30 years ago, but he's not right now. But I don't think it's because he hates Wilson or anything like that.
Yeah, and also, I think he has that college influence where, where he got to play with Reggie Bush, and he thinks that every running back is the next Reggie Bush. And
yeah. And in college, because elite teams have are physically dominant over lesser teams, you can just run a team over. Some of those teams at USC could have won a bunch of like 11 games every year if they never passed the ball. They could have run the ball every play.
Yeah, and in college, like running the ball is just more important, but in the NFL, that's just not the case anymore.
Yeah, like that made him in the case like when he first started coaching for us. We used to run the ball. I played defense. We didn't rely on Russ. The Legion of Boom really carried us to a bunch of wins. Then in the later parts of when the Legion of Boom started breaking up, then we continued to run the ball, even though we knew that we didn't have a dominant defense like we did back then. So
that fucked up that Cowboys wildcard game in 2018.
Oh yeah, we could have won that. We should have won that game.
Yeah, we almost won that game without a freaking kicker.
Yeah. All right, Ryguy. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go and get some other
All
people
right.
on. Thank you for
Have a
coming out.
wonderful night, guys.
See you later, man. Thank you for
All
coming out. All right. Next up, I think this is Hasher. I'm gonna bring you in. What's up, Hasher?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. Sorry you were in the queue for so long. We got a lot of stuff to get through tonight.
That's fine.
So, what's your take on this? We are now without an offensive coordinator for almost 2 weeks. What you got?
Okay, well, first of all, Joe Lombardi, he's expected to sign with the Chargers, from what I heard. So you can cut him off the list. I'm kind of pissed because all these, I guess, good to average offensive coordinators are going away. With these run first type of offensive coordinators, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of pissing me off. So the only thing that comes to mind right now, I'm like, okay, it's going to be Pep Hamilton right now. If he honestly gets signed by another team, I really think next year's going to be a really frustrating year to watch.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Pep Hamilton won't be frustrating to watch, but he has a pretty good resume. He has a history of getting good stuff out of some of the QBs he's worked with. Like, as an example, last year, Herbert had a really nice year. Andrew Luck had some really good years with Pep. So Pep Hamilton is probably the most interesting to me at this point, other than the pipe dreams like Kafka or Bieniemy or guys who I don't think we're ever going to get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Avery,
Yeah.
anything else you want to go over? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, free agency. Do you think we should re-sign DJ Reed? I thought he played pretty well last year.
Yeah, I think DJ Reed is a guy who makes
Definitely.
sense to re-sign. He's not going to be that expensive. We're going to have to re-sign somebody. I don't think we're going to keep Shaq, and I don't think we're going to keep Dunbar. And even if we do, that's no guarantee he's going to play. So, yeah, I feel like DJ Reed should come back. At worst, he's a really good return man. He's the best return man we've had since Lockett was really good, probably. So, yeah, I would say keep DJ Reed unless he wants a crazy amount of money that I don't think he's going to want because he hasn't really done anything to earn a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, he fumbled against the Rams, remember?
Yeah, he did fumble against the Rams, but, it's one mistake, and the game was already pretty much over.
The game was over.
I mean, it was a 10-point game with 4 minutes, so.
It's a lot to ask. I'm not going to put the game on him when we did all the other bad stuff that happened in that game. The offense was incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
The defense didn't get as much pressure as they needed to, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to try to spin the blame on DJ Reed. Oh, according to my chat, DJ Reed is still under contract next year, so we're going to keep him no matter what. So that's good. It's true.
How much do you think we're going to play Jamal? Because isn't he?
I think Jamal's getting anywhere from 18 to 20 million, and I mean, we should have been aware of that when we traded for him. We should never have traded for him if we did not know Jamal was going to demand that kind of money, and we should be ready to pay it when he wants it.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Jamal was great. He got pressure. He was a little suspect in coverage, but he was pretty good. I don't think he was worth both the first round pick, maybe one first round pick and a third round pick, and Bradley McDougall. That should have been good, but so
yeah.
I wish you could McDougall, to be honest.
Yeah. The thing is, like, the Seahawks, they had one of the worst defenses they've ever had last year. I know it got a lot better at the end of the year, but overall it was still a really bad defense. We could have had a bad defense just fine with just Bradley McDougall. So as of right now, I can't say that the trade was good, but I think he's a phenomenal player. I do. And as for his coverage, he proved himself in coverage when he was a New York Jet. So to me, when I see him be bad in coverage for the for us, my first thought is we're not putting him in good positions. My feeling is that we're not doing the things that we need to do to make Jamal Adams be able to look good in coverage.
Yeah, because like I see a lot of memes calling him Blitz Boy and stuff like that. And it's just he made some decent plays in coverage this season, but not a lot. That Cooper Kupp play, he's a receiver, and he was injured a lot this year, so maybe that was
Yeah, I'm not here to slander Jamal Adams over anything that happened in the playoff game when he was playing with 2 bad arms and he couldn't even lift his arm up. Like, I'm not saying he played perfect. He didn't, but I don't think now is the time to criticize him for going out there and gutting it out with bad shoulders and whatever else he was working through, because he was working through some stuff in that game for sure.
Yeah, I do think that we should use a lot of motion stuff on offense because, I mean, we have the talent. I feel like we should have went to the Super Bowl this year. This was our year to make the Super Bowl. We had the talent, we had the coaching staff, and even though Kenny Norton was a little bit shaky, but still we had a good team. We had a great team built around Russ, and we just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I believe this was going to be a Super Bowl team since 5-0 because we were barely beating bad teams. We were playing bad teams and honestly barely winning. I never believed this team was a Super Bowl team. Honestly, I liked last year's Seahawks. That Seahawks, the 2019 Seahawks, the playoffs showed me that okay, this team can actually win a Super Bowl. And what happened this year? The second screwed everything over. So, I mean. Next year, again, it's going to be frustrating. I got like 9 to 10 wins as of today, and I think we're going to be a first-round exit. That's what I think.
All right, Avery. Thank you for coming out tonight. Anything else you want to say before I let you go?
All right. See you.
All right. See you later, man. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. All right. This is Jose. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. So basically, I'm doing this stream mostly to discuss the current offensive coordinator situation in Seattle.
Right.
What's your take?
I honestly think we haven't hired anyone as of yet because we are looking for someone to succeed Steve Carroll once he retires. And the reason Anthony no. Sorry.
You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Just living at home. Somebody thought I was talking to them,
Okay.
Talking to I apologize. But they didn't take the job because he's friends with the coach who just got hired in Detroit, and Lombardi is friends with the guy that got hired as the Chargers coach, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Very high school clicky stuff. So that's just what I hear. But I think we're just looking for our next offensive coordinator to be our next head coach.
Yeah, I heard about the Chargers stuff. It seems like there are a lot of people going in and out of that Chargers organization that we had interest in. Like, Shane Steichen was one name that I heard floated, Pep Hamilton, Anthony Lynn, who's obviously out. Now it seems like they're getting, Lombardi. But, yeah, Pep Hamilton would be a very nice pickup, in my opinion. I agree with you there. He wouldn't be the most exciting, but he does have a positive history.
Right.
Yeah, but Pep has done great stuff. He made Andrew Luck. He made Andrew Luck a great QB in 2014, I think it was. I think that was Andrew Luck's best year. So yeah. I like Pep Hamilton, and he's young enough to potentially be the next head coach after Pete retires. I think you're right about that as well. So
I think that Andrew Luck was overrated as a number 1 overall pick, or is it just me?
Well, he certainly didn't live up all the way to it, but I do think he was a very good player, Andrew Luck. I personally think that Andrew Luck was a great
Right,
player, but
right.
Pep Hamilton got the best out of him.
People were comparing him to John Elway.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah, I remember that.
we just never saw anything like that from him. So
Mhm.
that's what I mean by the overrated
Okay.
comments.
Fair
Do you
enough.
think Andrew Luck is better than Russell Wilson today? Or not today, like when Andrew Luck was in the NFL?
I love Andrew Luck is the thing. I don't think he ever had seasons that were as good as Wilson's best seasons. I think Wilson was a lot more efficient. I think Wilson avoided turnovers a lot better in his heyday. But Andrew Luck was also somebody who could carry a team to a bunch of victories. So I do think that in a certain capacity, Andrew Luck was more of a franchise QB. I think that Wilson was maybe somebody who you could consistently win games with a little more, but Andrew Luck could be, Andrew Luck could be the dude. Yeah, Andrew Luck was a dude who would turn the ball over a lot more, but he was a big time playmaker, and I had a lot of respect for what he was doing in Indy. And you have to remember, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts is a known drug addict, and is obviously not a good owner. They didn't do a good job giving him support. They did a lot of stuff to alienate him.
Never give him no line.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that. So Hasher, of the guys who were left, I mean, I know we're talking a lot about Pep Hamilton, but if you remove all the reservations of the people who are still left, who excites you? Do you like Kafka? Do you like Lombardi? Although apparently Lombardi's about to get signed by the Chargers, like you said. Do you like Orsi? Who do you like?
Well, I like Mike Kafka, and like I said earlier in the stream that just because he said, he's going to stay in the city, maybe 10 days later he could come to a different team, right? I like him a lot. I mean, maybe he made Patrick Mahomes who he was, or maybe Patrick Mahomes was show from the beginning with Kingsbury. But and also Alex Smith, he had Alex Smith take care of the football. I like Mike Kafka, I guess, but man, I'm just really worried about first of all, Pete Carroll had an offensive coordinator that he can control. He wants that kind of guy where he can control and be like, okay, we're running the ball, don't keep Wilson safe, throw it on third down, that kind of stuff, which I don't like. That's really pissing me off, and that's what I'm really worried about. Even if we get a good offensive coordinator, I'm still worried, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I like Mike Kafka and Dorsey, so yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Hasher. I like Kafka too. He could be the next head coach when Pete retires. That he's worked with a good quarterback and a great quarterback. And so I like Kafka. When it comes to the rest of these candidates, so yeah. If we get Kafka, he could be our next coach.
Yeah. I think that would absolutely be the plan, because the reason why Kafka is probably going to stay in Kansas City is because he knows that if he sticks with Andy Reid for a couple more seasons, he's guaranteed to get a head coaching job. All he has to do is ride Andy Reid's coattails, and he will get a head coaching job. So if he came here, which I don't think he'll do, but if he did, he would be coming here thinking, hey, I'm going to get to be a head coach soon, one way or the other. But so
do you think it would help if whoever we hired, we make an assistant head coach and just gave him that title? Like, once he retires, you're basically our head coach.
Yeah, I would be down with that. That's happened before. Anthony Lynn was an assistant head coach to Rex Ryan in Buffalo, actually.
Yeah, but then they both they both got fired.
Yeah, and then they both got fired. So sometimes it doesn't work out exactly the way you expected. Granted, Anthony Lynn did not do an amazing job in Buffalo, so he didn't really do anything to earn it, but he did find a head coaching job somewhere else. So it wouldn't surprise me if we offered somebody an assistant head coaching job. In the short term, it doesn't really matter. If we bring in
Oh,
Go ahead.
but sorry to interrupt, but I think it does because it's like you're getting someone else a chance to go at least part of the way. And once you do that, it gives it another reason to want to come take the job.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't shrug it up and saying, oh, it's nothing, it's just the title, but there's a little promise with that. So yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It could intrigue a certain candidate if you say, hey, you get to be an assistant head coach and you'll get to have more control than Carroll would typically allow somebody. If Carroll brings in somebody like a Kirby Wilson, you know it's going to be because Carroll wants to control the offense. So if you bring in somebody and you make them an assistant head coach, you're not going to make that assumption. You're going to assume that they have the power to control their side of the football however they want to. So, Hasher, let me ask you this. Do you feel like the relationship between Wilson and Carroll is savable, or do you feel like this offseason is kind of brought into the point where it's just, do you feel like it's God?
I think the relationship, and Wilson, I mean, from the media, he's like nice and happy, but I'm going to be honest, I think personally that, because I play quarterback too, and if you don't get along with your coach, with what you want versus what he wants, just like Eddie and Carroll, they both have whatever differences in the offense. I think that's what Russ and Carroll have right now, and that's why I think Russ inside is pretty pissed. And I'm not gonna lie, I really do think when his contract is up, he's gonna go somewhere else if this offense does not change. Like as of today, it's gonna be a run first. And again, I think Carroll, he believes, he still loves me. But Russ is like, okay, Carroll doesn't like me. I honestly don't know what's up with Carroll. And we're going to see what happens with the years I have left on my contract. That's what I believe as a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's going to be very hard to find an offensive coordinator that makes both guys happy because they both want so different things. And who we end up getting is going to be very educational in who is winning that power struggle. I and a few other people on YouTube have said before that, we believe that Wilson and Carroll can be very successful in the NFL, but it's going to be very hard for them to be successful together because they want very different things. So what happens this offseason is going to inform a lot of that.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Jose? How do you feel about that relationship right now, Wilson and Carroll?
I personally feel that neither is like the child in the middle of a divorce, and he's gonna have to pick a side real quick, and it hurts me saying that because I know Pete Carroll personally, as you can see on my YouTube whatever, my YouTube picture, my YouTube channel, it's a picture of me and him. So I know him well. I think his rope's there, and he just wants one last chance to win. And Russ wants one more big money contract again. And whoever gets Carroll's OC wins the divorce. Pretty much.
Yeah, I felt like this year had the chance to be that year because the schedule was soft, the NFC was weak. We didn't get hit by COVID, and every other team did in some capacity, and we just couldn't make it happen. So I'm inclined to believe that if it didn't happen this year, it's going to be very hard to make it happen any other year. But yeah, it does feel like something's about to happen. Hasher, anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have two things to say. It's really quick though. I want to give my quick overview. I believe we have like $5 million left on cap space. Is that correct? Brendan? I think we have
It's
5 minutes
not a lot.
left.
It's something like that. It's not good.
2.1.
All right, I want to talk about that quickly. I think we're gonna re-sign Carlos Hyde, let Carson and Shaq walk. I don't know about KJ Wright, but my gut tells me we're gonna figure out something. So that, and then one more thing, quickly, offensive coordinator. Like I said, it's gonna determine the future of this Seahawks team, in my opinion, and what players are gonna be around here, like DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson. That's what's gonna determine our future as Seahawks fans. And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming out tonight, Hasher. I appreciate that. Sorry you had to wait
No,
so long.
thank you. It's
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I will talk to you later. I know you said you wanted me to play The Last of Us 2 on stream. That is coming. So
But
you better believe.
is your PS5?
So, I'm getting a PS5 shortly.
It's pretty hard to find one, man.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. I
Thank
have
you.
sources. I have connections.
I got you, yeah.
All right. Catch you later, man.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
good
you so
night.
much.
All right. I believe this is Ayaan. We're going to bring him in. Ayaan, are you there?
Yes, hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm good. Just chilling.
All right. So we are talking about the offensive coordinator drama around this team right now tonight, mainly and primarily. So what do you make of this? We are 2 weeks now without an offensive coordinator, which is kind of weird. What do you think of the firing? Who do you want to hire? What do you make of this situation?
Well, I think Carroll's trying to take control right now because I think we started this search with really 5 guys. We started with the 3 LA guys. We had Doug Peterson in it, and then we had Tony Elliott, and then I think we had maybe the Niners guy. I think most of them guys left. Right now, it's just Steichen really who's probably left because I think Pep Hamilton's getting some interviews with some other teams. So I think Carroll's really trying to find somebody who really wants to be here. So it's probably going to be between Steichen, Adam Gase, and Kirby, which I don't like, but I feel like that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I mean, if you get Adam Gase, then
myself.
I mean, okay, I'm not saying it won't work, but you better be ready to get made fun of nonstop for the next several months. Nobody's going to let you live that down.
And the eyes emoji.
Yeah.
A whole lot hell of the eye emoji.
Yeah. So Jose, I'm going to go to you real quick. Okay, real quick. Ryguy, thank you for the $5. Thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate it. So Jose, I'm going to go to you. How about some sleepers? Like, I don't know if you watch college football, but there are a ton of good coaches in college football who have some creative and innovative ideas for offense. Do you have anybody who maybe nobody's thinking of that you would really like?
Yeah, somebody wants my life. I went live after Schottenheimer got fired, and they mentioned the coach of the university, Will Toledo, who runs a temple offense and is running good from what the person was telling me. So look out for him. Look out for, I would say Mike Leach. God, no.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Leach would be a lot of fun. I don't know how well it would work, but it would be fun.
It wouldn't. Too many political beliefs go ways on that one. But yeah.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. And if you want to do a video sometime, just let me know, all right?
All right. No problem, Jose. We might be able to arrange.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So, Ayaan, I'm going to go to you. I've been thinking about this a lot. I've been talking about it in streams a lot lately. Wilson-Carroll, do you feel like this relationship is salvageable, or is it like Kobe and Shaq and it's time for them to split?
I want them to split, but for it to happen, I don't know, because both of them, they don't speak too much about what they really want to do usually. So it's gonna take something that it's like out of the ordinary. Something needs to happen. Maybe Wilson really wants Carson back and it doesn't happen, and Carroll has something to do with that because he doesn't want to pay him or something like that. Because right now the success isn't there, but I don't think their relationship is broken. So
Yeah.
We could see
Well,
that go either way.
I can tell you for pretty much fact a couple of things about it. One, Wilson really wanted AB, and the front office and team in general basically said, okay, we're going to try to go get him. And then they didn't. And they let him get away. They didn't want him. So that probably irritated Wilson. I can also say that the team was very upset at Wilson for the David Moore stunt in week 17. And I know it seems like a little bit of a silly thing to get hung up on, but the team really did not appreciate him doing that. And I don't know if that's something that's going to cause anything to happen, but I do know they didn't like it. So I'm thinking about that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
And if we get Kirby Wilson as our offensive coordinator, it may end up being the thing that breaks it, because what can you say about Kirby Wilson other than he wants to run the ball every play?
Yeah. He's not. He's what is he, like 60 years old?
He's been around a long time.
Yeah, he's not going to do much. I don't think he will.
Mm-hmm.
How old is Adam Gase?
Adam Gase is actually fairly young. He's in his 40s.
He acts like he's 70.
I the thing with Adam Gase that I don't understand, it's not like he's run first. If anything, he's passed first. His teams usually don't run the ball that well. So
Yeah,
not only he's not even good at the stuff that Carroll likes. So I don't understand why you would go get him.
Yeah, he doesn't make sense at all.
I have no idea.
Real quick, I want to address this comment. What was the David Moore stunt? There were like 20 seconds left in the 49ers game. We had the ball up 3, and we were just supposed to knee it out because the Niners had no timeouts left. The game was over, and Wilson threw a little 6-yard dump to Moore for no reason, because David Moore needed one more catch for a $100,000 bonus. The reason why the team didn't like this was because of COVID, money is actually kind of tight, and $100,000 that they didn't have to pay somebody actually matters, and the team apparently is really unhappy about that. The players were fine with it. Yeah, the players weren't upset. It was the team. So let me see here. So Jose, anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to talk about?
Either Pat Hamilton or Mike Kafka, and I'm happy. Anyone, and I'm putting my head through the wall on YouTube. And look how that video has been happening.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks for having me, Brendan.
Yeah, no problem, Jose. Thank you for coming on tonight. I know you make videos on YouTube. Y'all can go check him out if you want to. His channel's I think Jose Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's just
yeah. See you around, man. I appreciate you coming around.
no problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right. So let me ask you, are there any sleepers you like in college? Are there any guys that maybe nobody's thinking about right now that you would like to bring in?
Well, the Huskies former offensive coordinator and now the Beavers coach, Jonathan Smith, he did some really good things with us, specifically 2016. So I don't know if he's going to leave his hometown Beavers, but I would be intrigued with that. And he's only he seems like he's like 45, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. There's probably an army of quality offensive coaches you can get out of college football. A lot of college football teams run very creative offenses.
Yeah, it won't be that hard. I think if we get anybody from college, I won't rule them out, because it seems like every game's almost like 40 to something. So it's always high scoring. So scoring in college is not a problem anymore.
I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute, okay, Ayaan?
All right, yeah, I'll be here.
Be right back, guys. All right, I am back.
Yeah.
Sorry about the delay. Had a
Okay.
little bit of an emergency going upstairs, but it's taken care of. So, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
other than the offensive coordinator stuff and the Pete Wilson stuff, is there anything else you want to talk about as we head towards the off season?
Well, since this year we don't have that many draft picks, I haven't been studying the draft as much as I usually do, but I do want us to maybe I wouldn't mind if our first pick would be in the third round, if that makes, because as we've seen from the past 5 years, our best picks come from rounds 3 to 7. So I mean, if we can get at least maybe 6 3 to 7 picks, which would be ideal for me, instead of like 4 from 2 to 7, I would rather have that, and we can just like take some shots on guys like we've taken in the past, like Alton Robinson and Michael Dixon, and these guys in later rounds who just proved to be good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We are much better with our second round picks than our first round picks generally. It's almost okay. So I'm going to be pulling in Brandon Mikel, also known as HaWKxAs. You guys are probably familiar with his YouTube channel. He's been in my store.
Been watching him for a while.
How we doing?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
No, I'm doing good tonight, man. All right, so these are going to be the last two guests of the night. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter call-in stream tonight because I have a couple other things I need to do tonight. These are going to be the last two guests. So, Brandon, I'm not sure if you've made videos about the offensive coordinator search. I've been trying to make as much as I can, but what are your thoughts on everything that's happened in terms of us firing Schottenheimer and then still not finding his replacement almost 2 weeks later?
Well, initially, I was super excited about the Schottenheimer fire, release or fire, whatever happened, mutual agreement for him to leave. Until there, then there was some speculation that, like, was it Pete or was it Shotty? And then I started getting worried because I was like, was Shotty really the problem? Was it Pete the whole time? Because we know Pete has his own problems. And then now we're in the situation where it's like, well, was it going to be Anthony Lynn? Was it going to be this guy, Kapka? And then, Kapka wants to stay, and Lynn is, guys like Lynn and all these other head coaches are, dropping like flies. Lombardi, plans to go to the Chargers. And now we're sitting here. It's like, we got rid of Shotty without a legitimate backup plan. And I don't know, man. Seattle just legit. I mean, when we get let go of Shotty, in my head, I was like, okay, the fact that we let go of Shotty, in my head, I was like, we must have someone in line that we, a suitable replacement in mind that could come in and, be our OC. Obviously not. It seems like we're not prepared. And that's pretty much been the story of this whole season, it feels like.
Yeah, it does feel just a little bit dysfunctional. And there are guys that we are looking at that if we get will tell me nobody wants to come here. Nobody wants to deal with Pete. Maybe nobody wants to deal with Wilson for all I know. I don't know. But if we get Kirby Wilson, that'll tell me nobody real wanted to come here. So, yeah, I'm definitely open to the possibility of this being a very bad sign. I think Schottenheimer needed to go, but it's tough for me to say that this is an encouraging sign.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, I mean, now we're like kind of left with some guys. Now we're like almost reaching to the bottom of the bag where it's like, okay, well, maybe this guy, and we're trying to find all the positives on why this guy could work. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, like, I wanted Doug Peterson. We knew it wasn't going to work just because, Pete Carroll's personality with Doug Peterson. But there's just a lot of coaches. I thought we would be able to pick someone up by now, especially how fast we signed Shotty after the Bevel firing. But like I said, it literally, like, it feels like we're not prepared. It's felt like that this whole season. And once again, Seattle is just doing what Seattle does. And we're sitting here like about to get some, lineman coach from the college. Just, I don't even know at this point. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some guy I've never heard of before. But
yeah, I mean, if we did get somebody I never heard of before, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there are probably 100 capable offensive minds in college football that I've never heard of because I don't watch a ton of college football. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I would much rather get somebody I've never heard of than get Adam Gase or Kirby Wilson. 100%. But, the thing with Schottenheimer is that he was bad before he got here. He was or at least not good. He was bad for the Rams. He was bad for the Jets. He wasn't really good there either. So if he's not the problem, then he's definitely not the solution. So either way, I think it makes sense to part ways with him. All right. So Ayaan, I'm going to go back to you real quick.
Yep.
So do you is there anything else you want to go over in terms of off-season stuff before we let you go? Anything else you want to talk about?
I personally don't think Shaquille Griffin's all that good. I didn't think he was that good. I have no clue how he made the Pro Bowl last year. He was never that good in my opinion. Like a lot of people saw him transcending towards like a Pro Bowl corner for the next 3-4 years. I never saw it in him. I always thought he was average, maybe a little above average, but nothing so special. So I'm not gonna pay him more than $6-7 million a year. That's just me.
And
so if he goes, he goes.
Yeah, he did not have a good year, I don't think. I know he had 3 picks, which is nice, but I don't think he had a very good year. So to me, if he wants a big contract, then this is the wrong time to ask for it. And by the way, if that's how he plays in a contract year, I don't want to see what he does after he gets the contract. You know? But that being said, there is a price tag
for him.
Yeah, but I want to say thank you, Ayaan, for coming out tonight. I appreciate the support. You're in my chats all the time. You're in the Discord, and I would just want to say thank you for coming out tonight. And next time I do this, I hope you come out again as well. All right.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right, so Brandon, you are the final guest of the night. A lot of you guys in the chat probably are familiar with him on YouTube. He makes videos of his own. So, Brandon, I want to ask you, the Wilson-Carroll relationship, how do you feel about it right now?
I don't know. I feel like I've been really conflicted before. I mean, especially now. It's just, for a while, thought that we wouldn't be able to keep both Wilson and Carroll, especially after how this season ended. I just feel like Wilson and Carroll, there's something behind the scenes. I feel like they have 2 completely different philosophies, just like the Schottenheimer thing, where Wilson has this whole kind of vision for this offense that Pete Carroll does not have. You know, it's completely different. And I feel like that's what's always causing, you know, the delay of games and all these miscommunications. And it's like, I feel like that could be one big reason why our offense has, you know, kind of slowed down towards the end of the season. That's why I wanted Pete to go. No, Russell, I mean, I've been saying it. Russell played like trash the second half of the season. He's not playing like a $35 million quarterback. But at the end of the day, I'd rather much keep Russell Wilson than, you know, Pete Carroll, because I haven't been a Pete Carroll fan for the past few years. So I just feel like the relationship isn't working. Someone needs to go. And in my mind, it's Pete Carroll.
Yeah, it is really kind of unfortunate that we have long-term contracts for both those guys right now. You can't really get rid of either one of them. And it feels like we need to. It does. I remember when we fired Schottenheimer, NFL reporter or somebody like that asked Wilson, do you like this move? And he said, no, not at all. Now, some people might say he would say that no matter who it is because he's trying to be nice to everybody he ever worked with. But the fact that he said it so definitively almost sounded like he was not happy about this. So I don't know what to make of that. If Wilson didn't understand that Schottenheimer needed to go, then maybe that's a Wilson problem. It's tough to exactly make out what's going on there, but it does feel like something needs to change.
Yeah, I feel like Wilson, him saying, you know, he doesn't agree with the call, I feel like that's legitimately his heart saying. Because, you know, Wilson could have made up some bull crap. Wilson, like, you know what, I love Coach Shoddy. I love what he did for the locker room. But at the end of the day, I understand this is the business. This is a business, and whatever the front office makes, that's their choice. But the way he said it didn't sound like he was almost like, listen, man, like, it was kind of like, I'm getting tired of this. You know, this isn't what I thought. You know, he's kind of speak up more, which, you know, when you're making $35 million, you definitely should have a say in what's going on for sure. But yeah, it doesn't sound like he's too happy with that.
Yeah, I like I said before, if we hire somebody like Kirby Wilson, then I almost expect him to ask for a trade, because a hire like that is going to make him realize, wow, they really don't want me to have any control. They want me to go back to the rookie Wilson, where I had no impact on these games beyond keeping defenses honest. So yeah, something's going on there. Anything you want to talk about outside of this whole offensive coordinator coaching hire thing? Anything else you want to talk about Seahawks wise?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm legitimately concerned heading into this offseason and next season. I feel like we put all our marbles into this bag into 2020, and now we're sitting here with no draft picks, not literally no draft picks, but you know what I mean. No, like high draft capital, no draft stock. And we're sitting here going into the season. We have a lot of guys to pay. We're going to lose players, and we don't have the draft to kind of rely on. And I understand, like, oh, well, we draft better in the late rounds. Well, you know, if you look at our past drafts, we have one or two guys that are decent, and the rest are, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like our drafts have been doing so hot either. So
we're not
we can't
drafting
just
any
rely.
superstars.
Yeah. We're not drafting no Sherman or anything. We haven't done that in a while. So, you know, I'm legitimately concerned, especially when now we have this whole mess with the coordinator spot. We don't know what's going on with Wilson and the Carroll relationship. We lost to a backup quarterback and a, you know, four-finger Jared Goff at home in the playoffs at the, you know, in the round one we were clearly the better team. Well, we should have on paper. We were clearly a better team. So now we're set up in the situation where I'm like, what are we? Like, I don't know what our identity is. I don't know who's going to be on our team next year. There's no clear vision on what's going on. We don't have any draft, you know, what is it called? Draft picks. So honestly, brother, I'm not going to lie, bro. I'm legitimately concerned. And to me, unless something drastic happens this offseason where something, I don't know, like, which I doubt it, they signed some offensive coordinator that Wilson's happy with, and somehow I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know what we got to do at this point, because they literally, it feels like we're stuck. Like no draft stock. We don't have the. It's like, yeah, we want to get into Deshaun Watson. We can't. Why? Because we have no first round picks for the next 2 years. We want to, you know, move off Wilson. Well, he's getting paid too much money. We can't move off Carroll. We gave him a huge extension. We're just in this position where I feel like we kind of screwed ourselves. And I don't know, man. I'm legitimately concerned heading into next season.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't tank because, one, we don't have a first round pick, and two, you can't tank with Wilson. However much Wilson may struggle from time to time, he's good enough to win at least 7 to 8 games, I think. So, you know, being stuck is absolutely the right way to feel, I think, because the Rams team that we lost to, they're not even that good. They lost to the Packers decisively, the Packers who lost today. You know, that's not that great of a team. So, yeah, the fact that we blew the opportunity to make 2020 special could have, could have some long-reaching consequences, because there isn't a lot going forward. But, yeah. So, thank you for coming out tonight, man. I appreciate it. You keep doing your good stuff on YouTube. And yeah, next time I do this, feel free to call in as much as you would like. I will be doing this again in the near future, maybe after some big event. Maybe we'll hire Mike Leach, and then I'll be able to run a big call-in show. But until then, I'll catch you later, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. You know, stay active. I'll catch you on your live stream again. So I'll see you later.
All right. All right, so you guys may have just heard the voice of a certain Snacks, which means it is time for my dick flattening. So I am going to go ahead and end the call-in stream here. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Catch us in a couple minutes. We're going to go live on, I think, The Forest. So come out and watch, and we're going to have fun. We can discuss more stuff, but that's going to do it for the call-in show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for calling out. Thank you for supporting. Yeah, we're gonna have more content as the days go on, but peace out, go Hawks, and see you guys shortly in stream.